And welcome to the Davenport Coaches Show, coming to you live from Uccello's of Caledonia. Davenport coming off the strength of an impressive 31-17 win over Saginaw Valley on Saturday afternoon back at the Farmers Insurance Athletic Complex. I'm Rick Berkey, the head coach, Sparky McEwen. We got a number of special guests here. We're going to talk football. We got a couple of player guests coming on to talk about the season and their play on Saturday afternoon. Also going to talk a little women's basketball with head coach Shonda Sanders. She'll join us as well. Coach McEwen is here right now. The Panthers got things going very early and got started with the defense, forced a 3 and out, and the special teams, which has been special for much of the year, stepped up right away.
Lendering's kick is blocked and picked up by Davenport, and it is caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Davenport! Making the block, Don Gerguric, the special teams maven from Akron, Ohio. 81, Gerguric does it again, and Davenport strikes quickly.
It was a big special teams play, and it's the second time this year Davenport has blocked a punt and returned it for a touchdown. The other one up at Northern Michigan by Kevin Underwood. Coach McEwen joins us right now. Coach, special teams have been a big strength of this team for much of the year, and it showed its strength right away.
It has, and Dom's such a special player. And, once again, I can't say enough about, Coach Walker. Coach Walker has done a tremendous job in coordinating our special teams. We've always been, if not the best group in the conference, top 2, top 3, year in and year out. And he puts so much time into it and takes so much pride into it, with our young people. And you can see it, and when you get a special player like, Dom that goes in and just takes so much pride in everything that he does. His value to this team is right now at this point, it ranks up there with some of our best players. He's that guy that on special teams, he does so many special things for us. Super smart. He's got quick. He's a guy that understands, what we're trying to achieve, in that special teams department, So once again, to all those guys, because, it got off to a shaky start this year, to the point where, we were worried, but when you have a lot of youngsters, that's taking the place of All-Americans and all-conference kids, you're going to have those, those bumps along the way. So, we stood strong, and now all of a sudden those guys are showing up big and scoring points for us.
All in all, when you consider the offense, the defense, and the special teams, it had to be one of the most satisfying games in a while for your staff, because everybody seemed to play well in different areas.
In order for us to win, it's amazing how things work for you when all three phases are, playing well, because, at the half of that game, it was such a physical game. We were 1 for 7 throwing the football, okay? Yeah. And, we needed some other areas to pick up the slack, and that happened. We were, in a position where we're playing against a extremely tough, defense. The coordinator over at Saginaw Valley does a tremendous job ever since he's joined the conference and gone to work there at Saginaw, but he's done one heck of a job for them. And so we knew offensively it was going to be tough. And our special teams and our defensive coordinator also knew that we were going to have to find another way to manufacture some points. And, the staff has done a tremendous job, especially at this time of the season, because, losing those couple ball games early has made it tough. And, to the student athletes and to my staff, I'm proud of all of them, because we continue to grind. And that's kind of the way we are as a football team. We're some grinders, and the boys take pride in that, because they don't have any quit in them. They're going to fight you to the end, and those type of teams with those type of efforts, and they typically, they'll find ways to win games in the end.
You mentioned throwing the ball. In the second half, I'm sure it was more involved in that, but it seemed like a focus was just throw it up to Keontae. You got a really good shot at getting it when you do that.
Believe it or not, Rick, it was just that, because there was a little more scheming to it than that, but it was, at the end of the day, we had to find a way to get that guy the ball. He's the best receiver in this conference. He was the returning first team, unanimous all-conference receiver next to Preston. And, we needed to get his productivity up. And he makes those catches daily, for us. So getting the ball up to him and D'Wan having the confidence in him, it's still the game for the boys, and us adults need to remove ourselves from the game and let the kids, make plays. And, it takes you back to your backyard days of just throwing it up and letting your guy go get it. So when two teams play well, one of the things that when I was with Tony and Nice over at Ferris State, when we would go against Grand Valley, we felt like you had two warrior, teams fighting, and we felt like the team that would make the most big plays would end up winning, So I've kind of kept that same, attitude here at DU when we're going against the big boys, where we're going to put our good guys on their good guys and see who's the best. And fortunately for us, we came down with some of those big plays.
On the other side of the ball, your defense had 3 interceptions. Antonio Mays, Jamar Mills, his first career interception for Jamar, and Markel Guilford. So you also did a good job containing the dangerous Mason McKenzie.
Very dangerous quarterback, man. Very dangerous quarterback. The both of us talked about him last week, and, hats off again to, our defensive coordinator. He's been coming up and dialing up some things we knew we couldn't stop them. We knew that going in because they do a really good job of scheming teams and running an offense that, fits his skill set. But our whole deal in that game, we wanted to contain him. And we felt like we did a good job there, of containing him. And the next part of that is hoping that he was going to be a little off, to be quite honest, So proud of the defensive staff, proud of the players on our team that took advantage and came out at a high level and making plays.
You almost split the offense between passing and rushing in half there. So I know you wanted to get a little more running game initially, though. I could tell you wanted to get that established more than you did, right, to start?
Yeah, we did. We wanted to shake free the best running back in this conference, and we knew going in that Saginaw would, be stingy, on defense. And sure enough, they were, but we knew eventually our guy, through a 4-quarter war, our guy would crack through and come up big, and so would our quarterback, because our quarterback, he's a heck of a threat as well, and he's still getting healthy. D'Wan is still getting healthy, and it was one of his better 4-quarter games, completion percentage-wise. At for one point, he was leading the conference in completion percentage. But, it was tough sledding for him, and then we told him going in that we probably would need around 80 yards out of him, just to keep things going. So he was solid. He was solid in that game, and then, made the plays when he needed to.
Yeah, D'Wan Mathis will join us a little later in the show. He had 45 yards on the ground, as well as passing for 119 and 2 touchdowns. And he wasn't sacked once. That was an important stat that some folks maybe overlooked. He did not get sacked.
No, we did not. We've established that that offensive line, when the both of us talked weeks ago, and, we knew that we were starting to give up, some leakage, in that offensive line. And ever since Ville Saint has stepped in and we've taken and moved Armani out to tackle and Sarjo into the guard position, we've begun to solidify ourselves as, a pretty good, offensive line. And now D'Wan's starting to get that time that he needs because he's quite the accurate thrower. He's quite the accurate thrower, so he's still getting fully comfortable with that group, and we're keeping him clean. And I think that's why you're starting to see, some more explosive plays out of the passing game.
With that in mind, I hear coaches say, and yourself included, that, the continuity of the offensive line as a unit is really crucial. When you make a change like that, when you move guys over, do you risk the continuity having to start over from scratch when you do that? You do. And, we were looking at the first time we played Northern Michigan. We have 3 new position players that actually played. 2 of them that played against Northern, 1 didn't play against Northern, but just by, changing pieces. And now those guys have played 4 straight weeks together, and they played one of the better games as an offensive unit that we've had since I've been here, because Saginaw's really good, man. They're really good. Their box is legit, and we had to put hands on them, and I felt like our offensive line did a good job of, fighting fire with fire in that game. So, again, you were pleased with it overall as well. You receiving, how did you grade out the receiving room besides Keontae? Obviously, Keontae was a huge part of it.
We felt like they did a great job because, our guys know, no block, no rock, and I felt like they did a really good job in the blocking game. And the first time that we played Northern Michigan, they got after us. Their DBs got after us and their linebackers got after us. And so since that game, we're different, as a core, and protecting our runners and blocking downfield for each other. So this team has grown. We've got this is a different football team that we've got right now. And we got 2 losses to 2 teams that was ranked in the top 10, for the first region. And those 2 teams, for the most part, we lost to them by a total of 3 points. One team by 1 point and the other one by 2. So we know we have a team that can play with the top teams in the country. We just got to, once again, go into this game this week and keep putting days together and weeks together and see where this thing ends up.
All right, great win, Coach. We're going to have a couple of your players, Austin Stief and D'Wan Mathis, join us a little bit here. We'll come back and talk with Coach Shonda Sanders first from the women's basketball team. That'll come up just a bit. Thanks for joining us, Coach. We'll come back and talk about this week's foe, Northern Michigan, back here at the farm. One more game then after that for at home, so 2 straight home games end of the regular season, both at 12 noon at the Farmers Insurance Athletic Complex. Back with more of the Davenport Coaches Show here from Caledonia's Uccellos. We continue with the Davenport Coaches Show, coming to you live from your cellos in Caledonia, shifting gears a little bit from football. We'll get back to the gridiron in a little bit. But right now we're going to talk women's basketball. Head coach Shonda Sanders joins us, entering her 4th season with Davenport. 7 newcomers to the roster alongside 8 returners. Coach, I guess that shift is part of the norm. Now you're gonna have to replace players every year, and is that how you like it? Maybe 50-50, half staying and half new ones?
I would hope not to do that again, but I think that's still just a part of rebuilding a program because we are still in our rebuilding stage of it. So it's not out of the norm to kind of have half and half, but it's been really good having it. So.
Couple, your backcourt coming back, Nevaeh Williams and Hannah Schroeder. That's a good foundation to start with the backcourt.
Yes, 2 very experienced senior point guards that we have coming back. They've been really good with getting our team together, making a new 7. The 7 newbies feel welcome. Like if you come around our team, you wouldn't even know that we have 7 new players just because of just the dynamic and how much they just mesh together. No one will even recognize that we have 7 new people on the team.
Senior forward Ellie Toney comes back, your leading scorer from last year, and I felt last year, Coach, she was just coming into her own when she got hurt. She was right at that point where she started to realize, I'm figuring this thing out.
Yeah, and that's just, it kind of been like her story, her 3 years here. Like every time she gets in a good groove, something little kind of just happens, but I definitely thought she was finally getting in that groove last year before she had hurt her hamstring and kind of took her out for a couple of weeks, but she always come back strong and finish the year. So I'm just very excited to see her this senior year just healthy and ready to play.
She brings back 13.5 points and 7 rebounds a game. You had a couple scrimmages already, Coach. Tell us what you gained from that and what you learned more about your team in those scrimmages.
One thing I learned is what we built and what we've been trying to build for 4 years is finally came together. Wanting to be a fast-paced team, a running team, a pressing team, a shooting team, and seeing that versus Olivet. I mean, I know we didn't have a score, but we put up 91 points that game. And then going into Oakland, seeing how our press was really good and we were able to run with them just kind of like how we did in the Olivet game. So it was definitely good to see. Now it's just still keep putting the pieces together and keep meshing together.
Going in and doing that against a Division I school like Oakland had to give a boost of confidence to your team and your coaches, and seeing them do that against a D1 school.
Yeah, it did. And then it showed them kind of some of the things that we kind of slacked on in Olivet. I told them kind of, hey, if we do this versus Oakland, it's going to bite us in the butt at the end. And the two areas I told us that it did. And I think it opened them their eyes, and it showed them like how important them two areas was. So I think going into our last exhibition, they were coming more focused in them two areas.
All right, you got, like you said, 7 newcomers. Give us 1 or 2 young ladies that maybe are standing out so far of the newcomers.
The thing is, I can't just give 2.
All right, give as many as you want.
Like,
you got time.
it's literally
your food's getting cold, but that's all right.
It's literally all 7 of them. It's not
Really?
just
It's a group.
2 of them. It's the whole group. They all bring in something different, and they all bring in pieces that we needed. And it could be scoring. It could not be scoring. It could be rebounding. It could be three-point shooting. It could just be heart and hustle and energy. Like, they all bring in something that just separates us from the other years.
You mentioned running better than getting running the way that you want to so far. What's another area that you say, I know we're better right now than we were last year at this time?
Shooting.
Okay.
Especially our three-point shooting and just our shooting overall. Our percentages in both games were really pretty good. We've been shooting like we want to, but we also have a team. All of our girls, they love our girls are in the gym all the time shooting. So they really put an emphasis on that, and give credit to, like I said, our seniors, Nevaeh, Hannah, and Ellie, because they've really implement that into our team and letting all our newbies know, like, hey, this is a standard. This is what we have to do for the year.
Just 1 true freshman, Amaya Henderson, the center from Chicago. How she's adjusting, because that's a big jump for her.
Yeah, and she's adjusting very well. Like, she does freshman things, and sometimes I feel bad for her because she is the only freshman. So if you have other freshmen, sometimes you make mistakes. It's usually more than one. But with her, she's the only one. But she has such good, upperclassmen. Returners, not returners, they're always encouraging her. They're always helping her. So I think it's helping her, just come into her own.
Shonda Sanders, women's basketball head coach, joining us right now here. Coach, you mentioned a couple of strengths. Give us an area that you say, we're not where we need to be. We've got to get better at. 1 or 2 areas that you're still a work in progress.
One area I really say is free throws still. And it's not that we don't have the girls that can't make it. That's more like a mindset thing. And we've really been, since Oakland game, have been really focused on our free throws and practice and just getting them in a more of a mindset habit of going to the free throw line with a clear mindset and just knocking them down. So that would be one area right now I would say that we need to keep working on.
You know, you've got Walsh, Ohio Dominican, Lewis, Tiffin, and Malone in the non-conference slate there. That's some hefty opponents there. That's going to learn a lot about your team there.
Yeah, it is. It's going to show us if we're ready for our conference. Our first 2 conference games is versus Saginaw Valley and Lake State. So going against a Walsh and Ohio Dominican and Lewis and Malone, they're going to prepare us for fast pace. They're going to prepare us for big post players, small post players, agile post players. It's going to get us ready for our first 2 conference games in December.
You brought your hubby and your little guy out here with you for dinner tonight. Here, your little guy's not so little anymore. My goodness.
No, he's 4 now and
you were just
pre-K.
pushing him in the stroller. It seemed like yesterday.
I know, right? He grows so fast. It's crazy.
All right. Who has surprised you right now, Shonda, so far? Give us some player that either maybe from last year to now, or maybe even from the camp that say, she's doing more than I expected from her at this point.
One would be Nevaeh.
Okay.
So Nevaeh's been here since my first year. She came in with me. So she's been on this ride through the rebuilding. And this year she has came in just in a killer senior mode, that this is my senior year. She worked on her shot a lot in the summer. She put on a lot of muscle throughout the summer, and she's just been very vocal in leading her team, and it showed how much work she put in this summer, and I'm just happy to for her to showcase that to everyone once she can.
Well, Shonda, thanks for joining us. Best of luck this year. We look for big things from the women's basketball team again this year, and hope to have you out here soon again.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll take a break, come back and talk a little more football. A couple players will join us. Stay with us. This is the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia.
Both ways for McKenzie and company. In the shotgun, back to pass. He's going to be hit and dropped. That's a sack, Jack. Give it to Austin Stief. 2 consecutive plays by Stief, and Davenport will get it right back.
Austin Stief with a couple of big plays in a row there and helped spark that defense in that big win over Saginaw Valley. 31-17, Austin Stief, the junior from Orlando, Florida here. And a big win and a satisfying. We were talking with Coach about all sides. The offense, defense, and special teams stepped up, I thought, together. One maybe the best all-around game for you guys.
Oh, it was amazing to see. It felt like for the last 3 weeks we've been playing complete football. And, you know, it's something that we've wanted to see for a while here, and I feel like we're finally doing it. We're building on each week. We're building on each week. Each week of practices is getting better and better. So it's really nice to see everyone coming together. Everyone's making plays, and it's very complimentary football.
You were honorable mention all GLIAC last year. I voted you a little higher for what it's worth there, but again, a nice honor, and you're going to get some recognition, I'm sure, at the end of this year. You have improved your game. In what way the most, do you think, from last year to this year, Austin?
I would say my athleticism. You know, a lot of times I was focused on strength and, you know, being a big guy, but now, you know, I've been more focused on feeling good and feeling fast and explosive out there, and it's been a big game changer.
How do you do that in the offseason? What do you work on that athleticism in the offseason?
Ankle flexibility, knee flexibility, you know, a lot of workouts where it's not heavy weight, but you're just bending your body and limbs in weird angles that you would never, usually bend them. And, you know, it helps with injury prevention, and it helps with being faster and being able to bend more around the edge.
From Orlando, Florida, a long way from home. Family doesn't get up to see you as much as you'd like to, of course. How do you deal with that big separation? You know, I mean, you can talk on the phone and you know, visit online, but it's nothing like having them right there. How are you dealing with that separation?
You know, it's pretty hard, but up here, you know, I have family. My whole football team, man, those are my brothers. Love those guys. You know, my beautiful girlfriend lives up here. You know, I get to live with her, and then. But, you know, my family, you know, they come a lot, and I get to see different people every week. So it's like one week I get to see my mom, one week I get to see my dad. So, you know, it's spread out nicely, so there's never really too much time that I'm not seeing anybody.
Austin Stief, our guest here. Austin, I want you to think back throughout your playing days, high school, middle school, maybe even before that. Was there a particular coach that really lit the fire under you, that made you realize you can go somewhere with this athletic ability? Was there one coach that really lit that fire?
Yeah, and I always say this is my coach from high school, Doug Gabriel, just brought the best out of me, you know, wanted what was best for me and brought the best out of me.
Coach Gabriel still coaching?
I think he's coaching at Wekiva High School in Orlando, Florida.
Okay, all right, fantastic. What about this team here? What are your thoughts as far as where this team is, because it seems like they've hit a groove now and they're really playing with a lot of confidence?
Yeah, it really does feel like that. Like I said, my confidence with this team is just at an all-time high. Like, I love the way they're playing football. I love the way everyone's bought in. And, I mean, I'm excited to see where we keep it rolling. You know, we can't have these 3 good games and then, you know, take a back step. We got to keep, you know, taking steps forward, and I'm excited to see if we continue to do that. We should. Practice has been good. Practice was great today, so
Well, you're a business administration major, and you certainly are very serious about your academics. You were named all-district academic team last year. What do you want to do with that business degree when you do finish up with your football career?
I'd like to be an entrepreneur, maybe of apparel or athletic equipment.
Anybody that in particular that you'd like to work with or around, or is it just in general with apparel?
It's just a general with apparel.
Like to have your own business?
Yeah.
All right, that's fantastic. What do you do for your own time, away from football, away from school? What for your own personal enjoyment? What do you do?
Hanging out with my dog. Got a little puppy now. Up here.
At your place?
Yep.
Tell us about him. Tell us about your puppy.
She's a 5-month-old Cane Corso. She's a big girl.
So how big is she right now?
44 pounds, I think
she's 5 months old and she's 44 pounds?
44 pounds.
How big is she going to get?
They probably said like 130, 130.
How does she do with your roommates?
She's good. So she lives with my girlfriend's roommate, and my girlfriend's roommate has a dog, so she has a husky. So they play together all day.
Well, you're a Miami Dolphins fan. It's not been easy being a Dolphins fan right now. Tell us about how you're dealing with that.
My dad knows all about this. It's been it's been rough. It's been rough. But you know what? We're on the come up. We just need a couple more years.
Well, we've got you for at least another year, Davenport here. I'm going to ask you this. When you see guys like Trinidad Chambliss from the GLIAC playing up there, and now Weatherspoon from Saginaw Valley playing with the Lions, what does that show you as a GLIAC player when you see guys go on to Division I and the NFL that have played at the same level that you're playing at now?
That's a really good question. I think it just makes me feel like we're just not far off. Nothing is as crazy as everyone makes it seem, and it's crazy to see that someone that we were playing last year is at Ole Miss, number 4 in the country. That's cool to see.
That is special, and I thought that as I started watching, I'm thinking every GLIAC player should look up and thinking, he's a boost to all of you guys, and we realize how close you really can be to going to the next level, literally. You told us what you're going to work on, what you worked on in the off season this year to get ready for this season. Are you already thinking about what you're going to work on in the next off season for your senior year?
Oh yeah, the grind never stops. So just constantly thinking about ways to get better. Like a lot of times during the season, I like to just keep doing the things I've been doing, but a lot of times at the end of the season, I recess, watch film, and see what I need to fix, and then I go in with a game plan into the off season.
Austin, tell us about your family back home and how often do you get a chance to see them in person?
So my mom's actually coming up this weekend.
Yay!
So I get to see mom and grandparents.
Mom. All right.
Yep, mom and grandparents this weekend, and stepdad, and my dad and my stepmom and brother came up last time. So it's been cool. Get to see people.
All right, well, it's great. It's been great having you, bud. Look for more big things from Austin Stief, and keep it going, buddy.
Thank you.
Now go get some more of that food.
Oh,
it just showed up. I know that. D'Wan might be eating your food. All right, Austin Stief. We'll come back and visit with D'Wan Mathis on the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia.
How you doing tonight?
They shift Keontae Nixon over to the right side on 3rd and long. Back to pass Mathis. In the pocket, he's going to throw off his back foot, looking for Keontae down the middle. He goes up, and he makes the catch! Keontae Nixon, touchdown Davenport! And with that, we welcome the author of that pass. Joining us right now, D'Wan Mathis, the grad student from Oak Park, Michigan. And I tell you what, I know you had a lot to say about it, but big game by Keontae, and especially in that second half, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. Really good game. It's everything we see in practice on a day-to-day basis, so kind of surprised you guys, but it didn't surprise us.
You know, we talked with Sparky the first segment about it, and he started to mention that was a focus at halftime, was saying we just got to give Keontae some more shots, and that pass right there I think was a good example of it, right?
Yes, sir. It was a really good example. He's been working hard tremendously all year, not complaining for the ball, so for him to have a good matchup this game and have him open like that and just giving him opportunities to make plays.
Last year you played in 7 games, made 1 start, and it looked like you were just getting in the groove when the injury happened. Let's go back and talk about that and how that derailed your year last year.
It was really unfortunate, to get hurt that late in the year. Things started to get rolling for us. But God works in mysterious ways. I can say I came back a lot smarter, making reads that I was missing last year and just trying to get better each and every day.
Let's go back to that, D'Wan, that time when you were injured and couldn't play. What did you focus on? I know you want to get out there and play with your brothers, but you just couldn't do it physically.
Yep.
What did you focus on?
I would say number 1, just getting healthy. Number 2, working on my mentals, becoming a better person on and off the field. And then number 3, when I got back, just taking care of the guys and letting them know that I'm here to stay.
I was talking with Austin about how cool that was to see a guy like Trinidad Chambliss, who was playing GLIAC ball just a couple years ago.
Yep.
And now he's playing Division I for a top 10 team in Ole Miss. What does that mean to you as a quarterback in the GLIAC to see one of your compatriots up there at that high level?
It means a lot. I'm happy he took advantage of his opportunity. If I was ever to get a chance to do that, I would hope the same will happen for me. So I'm just excited for him.
I want you to give your overall assessment of your play this year, D'Wan. How do you rate? Give me something that you've done well. Give us something that you wish you were doing a little bit better and you can still work on.
Right now, I feel like I'm just leading the guys. I'm doing the little things right. Watching film, my preparation is the biggest thing I would say. I never judge the game off of stats or anything like that, numbers. Sometimes the numbers don't show. Like last game, we have a game where I think I completed, 25% of my passes, but we won the game. I'm judging it more so off wins. One thing I wish I could get back is the Truman game, overtime, just making that throw. Whether it was pressure or not, I got to be ready for that moment and make that play.
Had a terrific high school career at Oak Park High School in the Detroit area. Coach Greg Carter was your coach there. What did Coach Carter teach you?
Coach Carter always told me to stay poised. No matter the moment, it's never too big or too small. Just be myself. I'm always enough.
You transferred directly from Temple as well after playing in the SEC. You had a chance to play under Kirby Smart for a year at Georgia. What was that like? Because Coach Smart is one of the top names in all of college football.
It was really cool. I was just a little bit younger, still developing some of those things that were talked about early on in my career. Later on kind of affected me, and I got better at those things. Like I told you, just mental toughness. That was one of the things that was preached a lot at Georgia, something that I needed to work on, and I've spent a lot of time working on that.
Do you still stay in contact with anybody at Georgia?
No, sir, I do not. A couple of my old teammates, that's about it, but no one from the coaching staff.
All right, you're a sport management major. What are you thinking about doing whenever your football days are done? Where do you want to go the next step, D'Wan?
Either be a really elite quarterback coach somewhere, or just coach my own football team, high school, college. I don't think I want to be a professional guy. It's a lot of extra added on stuff and pressure, but the money's good, so if that ever came about, I'll think about that.
So you'd like to be a quarterback coach and then maybe even tutor young players. That's great as well.
Yes,
Tell
sir.
us about your family and how often they get a chance to see you play.
And I have 2 twin sisters, 3 brothers. My brothers have unfortunately not been able to make it to a game, but I think they're going to make it to the Fairs game. My mom and my dad have been there. Have a great family. I'm so thankful for them and all the things that they taught me as well.
Tell us, D'Wan, about what you do away from football, away from school, just for your own personal enjoyment.
I'm a big-time gamer. I love NBA 2K. I'm always playing that. The guys probably tell you that's all I talk about is playing the video game. And then outside of football, watching film. I kind of love football. I'm never away from it, really. I might be away from the building, but I'm always watching football.
Well, that's a sign that you may be a coach in waiting there as well. Who are your roommates?
And I have no roommates right now. I live off campus in an apartment.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
I was going to ask you who's the best gamer in your place, but I guess it's you then, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not going to throw nobody out like that because they'll start arguing with me tomorrow.
All right, let's talk about this team. Seems to be coming in the groove here. There's got to be a confidence level that wasn't here a month ago.
Yep.
Tell us.
I say the groove just came from those tough L's early on in the year. Taught us a lot about ourselves, and as the year went on, we noticed like, hey man, we're one play away. We're messing up these games. If we just focus in and hone in on the details and do the things that we're supposed to do, we can win these games. And now that's what you guys are seeing. So I just want to keep the ball rolling, man, win these last 2 games, get in the playoffs, and see what we can do from there.
Well, let's start this Saturday with another W, right?
Yes, sir.
D'Wan Mathis, thanks for joining us. Go back. Austin was eyeing your food, I noticed, after you were eyeing his, so let's get back and enjoy it. Thanks for joining us, bud.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, D'Wan Mathis, quarterback on this team. We'll take a break, come back, and talk with Sparky McEwen one more time about this week's opponent, Northern Michigan, Saturday at the Farm. Final segment of the Davenport Coaches Show here. Utilities of Caledonia, they do a fantastic job here. If you haven't been out there, why not? Those of you who watch us, family and friends from home, other parts of the state or even the country, you're coming in town, this should be your place for your pregame or postgame meal. And bring your players out here and enjoy it beforehand or afterhand. It's a great place, a million TVs up here, just great atmosphere, great food. And Sparky McEwen rejoins us for the final time. Looking ahead to this Saturday's opponent, and it's not often we say this, we're going to play the same team that we played earlier this year, as Davenport's going to take on Northern Michigan University for the second time this year. The first time up there, a victory by Davenport, which was a conference win, 35-16. This is a non-conference game. What's it like playing a team twice? You've done it before. Tell us about the advantages and disadvantages of playing a team twice in the same year.
You know, one of the things is, 13 years I spent coaching professionally, Rick. That was the norm to play, the divisional opponents twice. So I'm very familiar with it. And when the first time that, me and Mr. Loudon, we had this possibility, as a hockey player, he's done it, in division play. He's played teams twice as well. So we understood it, but sometimes with the young people, when you get football players, they're used to coming out of high school and playing an opponent one time. And, we've had a really good conversation about that, and that, we did win that first one, but that was that first one, and that was a long time ago. Our football team is much different than what we had the first time around, and they're much different as well. They got a different quarterback in there, and they've got a couple other pieces that, some guys that have grown up now, and, so they've done a really good job. They've gotten a win since, so they've done a really good job of transitioning, this football team to be an extremely competitive football team.
Yeah, I mean, it was good for those guys to get a win. Coach Richardson's third year, they hadn't tasted victory in that. They finally got a win against Roosevelt a couple weeks ago, 42-21, a good win for them as well. You mentioned a couple of guys have changed their role. One thing that hasn't changed is their outstanding running back, Noah Dobert. Number 1 in the league in carries, number 1 in the league in yards, over 1,000 yards rushing. He's number 1 in yards per game, 111 yards per game, and number 3 in touchdowns with 7, trailing, of course, our own touchdown train, Cephas Harris, in that category.
Yeah, it's a scheme that's an extremely tough scheme to stop. Okay, it's a triple option, and there's so many options, within that scheme. They've got a quarterback that can carry it. They've got 2 running backs that can carry it, and now, they've added an extra element of a guy that can throw it a little more. So our hands are going to be full once again, and it's difficult because schematically, out of all the teams we play, most of the teams, for the most part, have some similarities. But this team has nothing similar to what we have and face on our schedule or in our conference. So we're going to have our hands full. And our players, we had a great meeting today, about, Northern, and that, this is the time that we've got to be able to go into this game and show that we've gotten a lot better from the first time around.
So like playing one of the service academies, right? It's with that triple option. It's just so unique. You just don't, when you're playing other games, you're really not preparing for that at all.
Correct. And, everything you've known to this point, you've got to throw it out. But to answer your first question about it that is one of the things that's actually that works in your favor is that we have faced it. So we know schematically the blocking angles, the fits, all these different things are just different now, So if you have never faced it, it's going to be a little tougher on you. Another, part to this is that our scout team's already, demonstrated that they could help us in practice. So now, once we get back in practice, the guys are familiar with how we practiced before because we played them earlier in the year.
And you have scout team players of the week each week, right?
We do. And, I always tell everyone that, we have a scout team, and those are your future stars. Those are your future Panthers that's going to be stars for us. And all those guys have done a tremendous job for us, and they take pride. They take pride in what we do, and the coordinators, and our assistant coaches make sure, that it resembles, the opponents that we're going to play, So coaches do a really good job of breaking down film and making sure that everyone's on the same page so that our starters, our travel team, could get a good feel for what we're going to face.
I understand we're going to play them twice again next year.
Well, at this point, it looks like that, and, the difficult thing is being in the GLIAC is it's tough scheduling opponents. And if you think it's tough for us, think about this. Teams that are on your non-con schedule, they would have to travel all the way to Marquette. So with the new playoff format, there's extra opportunities to get points when you play someone in region. Obviously, have an opponent from our conference, if they weren't able to find another non-conference game, playing an opponent in our conference. And one year we played Ferris twice, and I think, once again, my whole deal is you have 11 opportunities to line up. I don't want to play 10 games. I want to play 11. If we have a chance to play 11, it has to be a team within our conference twice. We'll take that versus playing 10.
All right, well, let's hope keep the things rolling here with another W on Saturday, and we'll come back next week and hopefully talk about that victory, Coach.
We need it.
All right, Saturday, 12 noon, Davenport in Northern Michigan. So get out there, cheer them on, and if you can't make it, catch our broadcast on Flow Sports. We'll bring that broad to you right online as well. So that'll wrap it up here from Chelsea Kelly. And thanks to the great staff. Brittany and the gang take great care of us. Thanks to our special guests, D'Wan Mathis, Austin Stief, Shonda Sanders from the women's basketball program. So for Coach Sparky McEwen, I'm Rick Berkey saying thanks for tuning in. And go Panthers.